Hello, my name is Michael Hynes. I'm a school superintendent in New York, in the United States, and I've had the distinct pleasure of experiencing Finland University this past week. It has been truly a transformational experience for me as an educator. I have to say it is by far the most significant learning that I have experienced over my 20 plus years in serving children in education. Read about something that's very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
You watch it in a movie,
Yeah.
or on a TV show, it's two-dimensional.
Yeah.
But to be here and to see it,
Yeah.
it's really four-dimensional.
Yeah.
And the opportunity for us to be here, to see what you do from 30,000 feet, so to speak, allows Bill and I to go back, I think, with some concrete exemplars and recommendations moving forward. Because my concern is that if we don't change something in the United States very soon, we will be at the point of no return. And that is very, very troubling. Not only for the state of New York, where I'm from, but for the rest of the nation, where we serve 90% of our kids are in public education.
Yeah.
And this test and punish system where there's no trust, there's fear.
Sure.
We're looking ways to eradicate that. And we look to you as an exemplar and a beacon of hope. And
You want to change something, you know that surely very well. You need to start somewhere, but if only the teachers or you in your position know this is what we want, it won't maybe happen if the principals are not there.
that's right.
And how the principals are leading the change, how to make changes, how
And that's
to...
always the first thing I hear from my colleagues, my peers.
Yeah.
If I'm going to invest X amount of money, what's the return on that
And what's the
investment?
result?
Well, that's the thing. What's the
Yes,
result?
what's the result?
Yeah.
Welfare, or some academical high level, or so that they can go to after school, they can go to work and be good parents, and they have some inspiring future that I can learn more and more on my own style and so on.
What strikes me here is when listening to you, in the morning I read some articles by Jacob Konin, what makes a good teacher. He sat in classrooms in New York and everywhere in the United States and just sat there. So what's happening? Tell me who's a good teacher, and went to his classroom or her and make notes. And then
we didn't invent our own system. We went to US, we went to Germany, we went to Sweden. We added some spices into our soup, and it's delicious. So, and we are pleased to serve the soup for you as well.
And in the first hand, the auditorium model came from the little children's schools from England. And it was so that teacher was teaching here and kids were sitting there, and it was easy to control what's going on there. But nowadays it's different.
It is.
They are watching what's going on here.
That's right. That's right. So you have different learning environments. You have beanbags. You have...
This space
Here
is
is
more
this activity area.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Even the chairs themselves, right? So
Yeah.
it supports core strength, right? So,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yes.
And you have to pay attention. You can't just doze off, or else you'll fall off.
Yeah.
Well, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And then even these seating arrangements. So to have a rope, I'd love to know which student that was. To have a rope in the classroom, but that's for the kinesthetic learner
Yeah.
who likes to move
Yeah.
on. Same with the rock wall.
And there's like I've been teaching for a bit over 2
that presentation about the general studies in upper secondaries, and while doing that, maybe
Sure.
you could
Do you mind?
present yourselves.
All right.
So we can really see something and we're not being
Can I pull up my school so we can see it real quick? Real quick? Is that all right?
Yes.
All right. Everybody speaks English, yeah? All right.
Teacher in school. And the big issue for us is that the Finnish model is based very strongly on trust. Trust from one level to another,
Just go recap some of the things that took place today. And again, I feel like each day gets more and more amazing. You're probably sick of hearing me say that, but it's true. I started my day visiting a university training school, which was amazing. We got to go into classrooms in grades 1 through 6. We also, for a long period of time, got to spend some time in a physical education class and look at the construct, the physical construct of the gym as far as the equipment that they use and the types of activities that take place. And I'm going to send some videos, show some videos. When you understand it, it's not hard?
Yeah.
So how long would it take if I brought my car to you?
That depends so many things.
Okay, so let's say, or what would it depend on?
What condition?
Okay.
And do you want do we have to compound that
okay.
and putty and
So let's say the condition was pretty good, you didn't have to do any compounding.
that's easy.
Okay, then it's easier to do that? So I would just pick a color,
Yeah.
I would bring them into your shop, and then you would get it done.
Without a little bit money and 10 minutes.
Oh, now we're talking. It's not free?
So may I just check? You are 3 professional.
You were talking about your belief that all kids have potential.
Yes, really.
So why do you think that?
Because I have seen it. I have seen it. It's a great thing, and also students must have possibilities. For example, to choose what kind of way they are going to study. For example, when they are studying, running their student company, and they can, for example, have good idea, and then they can, for example, try, is this good business idea?
What we were told is that this was an old car that used to run on gasoline. The students here, working with different teams, from ICT to, which is technology, with engineers, with, I would say, for lack of a better word, mechanics, they converged. They converted this to an electric car, all new system that they worked on for 2 years. They had sponsorships from companies within Joensuu, and now it gets 18 kilometers of use when it's charged. And my understanding, phase 2 is they're going to get a big, huge, no, I'm just kidding, a sports car, and they're going to work on that next time. But this is the ultimate project-based learning activity that I know for a fact their students will never ever forget.
Work together.
You're working together. I just want to make sure I understand this. So in the vocational school, there are social workers,
Yeah.
there are
Yes.
psychologists,
Yeah.
there are nurses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because this is really a school.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Back home, we don't have that. You weren't.
Okay, so this is home economics class, and the 7th graders have this as a compulsory subject, and then it's one of the most popular optional subjects here in Finland. Both boys and girls, they come here and they study home economics. So they come here, do a little bit of theory first, and then they start cooking, and usually it's a meal, and sometimes they make some desserts as well. So it's very popular, and of course when they cook, they also lay the tables, they do the dishes, they clean everything up, so when the next class comes here, everything's ready for them.
I just want to be clear about this. They actually cook. They set the table.
Yeah.
Do they eat their own food?
Yes.
And then they clean everything up?
Yes.
And they clean the dishes?
Yes. And they also
iPads,
no
no textbooks or workbooks
Okay.
nowadays, because we trust the what is it, information technology in education.
Okay.
And I think that the schools and the areas, cities, will
As far as your whole classroom structure, and then moving to this? No. Is it because of the collaboration with the teachers?
It's really, it gives you power.
It does.
It does. We all can use our strengths, which is the most important thing, I think. So it's...
Or headmaster may say, how is this going to help them get a high score on a test? So
we have answered.
What is the answer? I'd love to hear. So the question will be, how is an activity such as this going to allow a student to score well on a standardized test?
Well, they have to interact together because they're working in teams, so they speak a lot, and the language was English, which they were speaking, and they learn lots of vocabulary, and yeah, there was lots of
Physical education class. It's snowing out. They're still outside, and they have choice as far as what they're looking to play. It's child-led. So they have this outside, not only for physical education class, but they're outside 3 to 4 times a day. And this is what childhood should be like. There's no reason for the United States not to bring this back. It's very simple to do. Man, that is sick. Thank you for showing us. This is very apply in some ways.
This is what I believe. You see, when someone is talking about Finnish education, I wouldn't want them to just pick the Finnish education. I think that the education has been built into their whole system, and so many things are working because I'll give you an example.
Sure.
Depending on where I live, it determines where my kids will go to school.
Okay.
And so it means you must have a very good population system.
You were expressing shock, disbelief, and horror at some things we were telling you earlier today. What aspects, and America is a great country with great things.
Yeah.
We have some problems, I think, in early education especially, but what were some of the things that we were telling you about that provoked such a response?
Well, I think the whole thing with your students being like so mentally ill, like anxious, they don't have any breaks. That was like really shocking to me. Because like, when I first went to school, I can't really remember that time, but like, it's like 3 hours we went when we were 7, like, and we had breaks. And when I was in elementary school, I loved playing outside. Like, we went outside, we played horses, we played the Winx Club, witches, like everything we could. It was like the funnest thing ever. And your kids don't get that. Like, they can't be children during school time. And I think that's kind of sad.
Principals and district leaders, and what are the wicked problems that you're dealing with right now? And they said, well, implementing the curriculum has been difficult, leadership should be changed in a way, and then technology to some extent, but well-being came up.
Well-being.
As one of the key problems with teachers and principals, and that just reflects the situations that the families are going through in our country. And
I got to teach. I was actually teaching 6th graders in one of the schools. It was a real treat for me. I was both scared, nervous, and excited all at the same time, and it was a wonderful experience. Many of the students in 6th grade speak 3 languages, which is really remarkable. And I have to say, they spoke English very well. So that was a lot of fun. We visited many secondary classrooms today, which was really important to me. We got to go to a school for grades 7 through 9. A wonderful experience. Spoke with some outstanding teachers who have very clear thoughts about student self-evaluation. That is one of their major drivers there for understanding where kids are as far as their understanding. So they teach kids how to self-evaluate what is being taught, and more on that later on. I got to see firsthand how important the school structure is as far as the environment, again, at the secondary level. It was almost like walking into someone's home in many ways, from the cafeteria, the way it's set up, to the lobby, to where students 3 times throughout the day in middle school, high school, have 15 minutes 3 times a day to do whatever.
Right, yeah, just hanging out. Maybe waiting for the next lecture to start. Some are going out. I don't know if the day has ended or...
Okay.
Well, it's already, yeah. 2 o'clock over 2, so for some of them the day has already ended.
pizza. Good quality.
You like it? Yeah.
Yeah. Say that again, Bill?
Well, so in other words, real customers will bring real cars to this vocational school to be fixed.
And we will do real works here.
They graduate, they leave. What do you want them to understand or to appreciate about art? Like what's important that's universal for anyone who moves through this system that they should have?
Well, they should understand that it's for life against death. Mental death, physical death, everything like, destructive that is happening in this world. That's what art's for.
I've never heard it put that way.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are you here for? So what are you studying?
We are studying for business economies.
Business economies.
Yes.
Wow. So once you leave here, what kind of job do you want to have?
When I live here, I go to the
selling cars.
Yeah, I'm going to selling cars.
Wow.
And I do that kind of job.
Those primary school teachers.
Primary school teachers make something like this.
Yes, and this is kind of pedagogical puppet, so they can use it in classroom with kids, and it can be of the pedagogical help.
So teachers learn how to make their own puppets that they
And
can use in their
kids.
classroom
Yeah.
to work with kids.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to cry.
And at the same time, they learn craft making and creativity and so on.
What I've noticed here is that students have the ability to express themselves through art, through craft making, in an extremely creative fashion, and we don't do enough of this in the States.
But in our system, I don't count those exams which goes poorly.
Outside or in your classroom.
Do you usually choose that, or do the students have a say as far as where they would like to have particular
Well, it
lessons?
depends on the group. You have to think of the group and what the pupils are like.
Got it. And then, do you notice a difference when the kids, once they're outside and they come back, do you notice the difference as far as how they are in the classroom?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
They are more relaxed when they have had some time for
time.
themselves.
So what would you, if you don't mind me asking, not to
Yeah.
put you on the spot, but what would you say to American teachers or principals, administrators who are resistant to frequent breaks for kids?
Oh, well, breaks are good. For you too, for the teachers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need your brain to reload.
You do?
Yeah.
So you encourage that?
Yes, I do.
I think I love you. Thank you.
But also, whoever, if they are, so that is like a little bit like a preventive attitude.
It is.
Yeah. So that is something that
It's very uncommon.
Yeah, it's very uncommon.
Very often they come because they have some studies that they have left undone, and we're trying to catch the rhythm. Yeah. But more often they are following their own path. That's the change that is coming. That.
No. So, favorite sport? Yes. Roger Federer? Who's your favorite? Okay. So, I want to show you this real quick. I want to show you where I'm from, what some of the pictures look like, so you can see some of my students. So, this is our middle school. These children are the same age as you. That's what they normally, no, I'm just kidding. That's called Crazy Hair Day. So they put their hair in crazy ways for the whole day. They get to have their hair like that, so they'll dye their hair purple or put big buns on their hair.
Mä laitan paussille tän. Mä laitan sen, eli fullscreeni, ihan oikea alakulma lukee koko näyttö. Mä painoin sen nyt. Mä laitan vähän sua taakse. Tää on aika lyhyt.
This is really outrageous.
Ja sitten tässä
boy, what an action-packed day. And I have a very short period of time to just describe it. I'm trying to do it under 2 minutes, and then I can get more in depth later on. But basically, I started my day today on a playground, elementary school playground, which was remarkable. Even though it was raining out, kids were outside before school started. And then I started my day walking through an elementary school, visiting classrooms, which was really wonderful. Some of the things I really noticed, of course, is everything is child-centered. Just the way the classrooms are set up, the school is set up physically. It's conducive for whole child education, a lot of movement.
And in the first hand, the auditorium model came from the little schools, little children's schools from England. And it was so that teacher was teaching here and kids were sitting there, and he was it was easy to control what's going on there. But nowadays it's different.
It is.
They are watching what's going on here.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So you have different learning environments. You have beanbags. You have
This space
Here is
more
this activity area.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Even the chairs themselves, right? So A supports core strength, right? So, which is wonderful.
Yes.
And you have to pay attention. You can't just doze off, or else you'll fall off.
Yeah.
Well, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And then even these seating arrangements. So to have a rope, I'd love to know which student that was. To have a rope in the classroom, but that's for the kinesthetic learner who likes to move on. Same with the rock wall.
And there's like I've been teaching for a bit over 20 years. The youngest colleagues are maybe
In many ways, but you take it to another level where, and I'm talking just instructional wise, but the frequent breaks that kids take, I think most teachers or administrators in the States would say, but then you're taking, the day's already shorter, then you're giving them breaks. So there's really not too much time to teach. So how do they learn so much? But that time isn't there, but you're showing through research and everything else that...
Yeah, it's possible, and I think especially in when the kids are in the elementary level, their capacity, anyhow, it's not in that level that they can study a long time.
What's happening?
And we also value medical doctors. But at the same time, there is people value also teachers. Medical doctors are paid much more better than teachers, but still we have a lot of applicants for teacher education as well. So it's not only money, or for example, what is leading this discussion. It's really about our values and norms in this.
So child development, they take courses on child development?
Yes, they have preparation classes in our faculty about child development, basics of teaching, learning, and I for example started a course of basics in teaching and learning. So we went through what are the basic concepts and what does it really mean to constructing, for example, learning environment. What are the key elements, and then they have to reflect here how to do that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and also the theoretical courses are parallel with the practice. They have to do assignments.
So they learn and then they
Yeah.
Got it.
And they have to reflect, okay, I did this, what does it mean in the theoretical level?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are they taught how to reflect? Because that's very difficult to do too.
Yeah.
So they're taught how to do
Yeah,
that.
we have several tools for that. So we have, for example,
This fellow is the union representative with the glasses.
You better not come back to this. You may be very upset. Hello everyone, this is Michael Hynes, proud superintendent of schools for the Patchogue Medford School District. This is my video log number 1 from Finland. As of right now, I'm in Joensuu. Arrived in Finland this morning. It was a very long flight. Haven't had sleep for about 30 hours, but it's been a really wonderful trip. Flew into Helsinki this morning, then took another plane to Joensuu, which is, like I said, where I am right now, with my good friend William Doyle, who's a Fulbright scholar and has been teaching out through the University of Finland for the past several years. So he's accompanying me, which is a really big help. And we got to walk around the city today, which was great. We got to meet some wonderful people, and I think just as important, we got to absorb some of the culture, which is wonderful.